All right. Hey, how are you guys doing today? I hope everyone is having an absolutely awesome day. I am reaching out to you guys today because few things here. One, I want to know if it's important to you to understand how you can get your candidate not just in front of the client, but get your candidate in front of the client to the point where they really, honestly, and truly want to interview your candidate. If that's something you're interested in, that's what we're going to talk about just for a little bit today. How to sell your candidate through the submittal process. Now, I get super excited when we start talking about stuff like this because this is where we start to really earn our money for what we do as recruiters and staffing professionals, okay? So I've been working with my staffingpreneurs on the splits board over the last couple of days, and I'm really excited about that. And each and every one of you are doing an absolutely amazing job. Now, we've received 5 submittals over the last 3 days. And one common thread that I have seen with each and every one of the submittals, with the exception of half of one, is that none of the staffingpreneurs took the time to reformat the candidate's resume. And I felt like that was very interesting because how do you expect on the every other candidate? How do you expect for your candidate to get the hiring manager's eye if you're not taking the time to reformat the resume? So each resume that I have received that I am to submit to the client to tell them this is the best candidate on the planet looks exactly like the resume that the candidate submitted to them. It doesn't look like any proofreading was done. It doesn't have a formula to how the resume is formatted. Each and every one of you own your very own niche recruitment and staffing agency, and there should be a level of standards based on the way you submit your candidates. So, what font do you use? What resume format do you use for your candidates? Right? What shows that this represents the quality of your staffing agency? Just questions. I'm just throwing some questions out there. And these are things that you want to look at when you're talking about submitting a candidate to a client, whether you're working through a splits partner, whether you're partnering with another staffing agency, or whether you're submitting that resume directly to the hiring manager. You should be selling your candidate every step of the way. So I have one submittal in front of me, and it's in little lines. I can't even understand the resume myself. I don't know how this staffingpreneur or the candidate is expecting the hiring manager to be able to read the resume, right? So what's your format? In the manual, I give you a format. Any staffing agency that you go into, there is a format. It's something that says, this is the value that we bring. These are the types of candidates that we submit. I am unable to submit a candidate's resume when the format is stankin'. Not stinky, not stunk, but stankin'. Woo! Who wants to send that over? As a hiring manager, myself, as an employer, myself, when I see a shitty resume, I push it to the side. And I look at resumes that are more presentable. We're like that in life if you really want to be serious about it. When you walk down the street and you see an attractive person, they're easy on the eyes. When you walk down the street and you see someone who may not be so attractive to you, it's a you take it back. I'm like, that's right. It's a wow. It's like, whoa. I mean, I saw some people say ignorant things. Notice when you look at the ads that are out there, they don't have unattractive people on those ads. They have attractive people on those ads. A resume is no different. So if you're submitting a resume to me and you want me to submit that resume to a hiring manager, you're sadly mistaken, rejecting, and I'm sending it back to you. I don't care if you have all the information. My job is to show you how to win, to show you how to succeed. Other staffing company out there on this planet through how you submit your candidate. Finding the candidate is only one phase. Securing the candidate is only one phase. The analogy that I always use when I walk into my corporate clients and I'm training them is, why are you going to run the race by doing all the things that need to be done to get the candidate ready for submittal? And then when it's time to get to the submittal portion, you're like at the finish line, but not crossing over. You've like bent over, tying your shoes, fixing your hair. Maybe you decide to take a nap because you see everybody else is 10 steps behind you. And when I say that, that means that you've done all the work all the way up to the finish line, but you didn't format the resume properly. You didn't make sure that they won when he crossed the line to get that trophy, to get that gold medal. You got him looking like, that's an extra time. Yes, it's going to take extra time. But do you want to get paid thousands of dollars? Are you worth the money that they're paying you? Do you want that money? Now, we can do it for you, for my staffingpreneurs, but if we do, we're taking money off that fee because it takes time for that to take place. That is your job, entrepreneurs, and I'm expecting you guys to have some type of formula or format in the manner in which you're submitting your candidate. Even if their resume is not formatted, what are you doing to ensure that their resume looks good enough to where the hiring manager is going to look at those resumes and say, man, I got to get this person in right now? Does that make sense? Anybody? I'm not fussing, I'm teaching, I'm coaching, because this is something you guys need. This is a constant trend. And you're not selling your candidate. And I'm definitely not for the feedback. Thank you, Shalonda. I appreciate that. I need that feedback because this is what's going to determine whether or not your candidate, you want them to look good. Make sure the font is nice. Make sure you can clearly understand what the candidate is. No paragraphs. We don't do paragraphs on resumes. No paragraphs. Bullet points. You want it so that if you can easily read it and understand it and it makes sense and it looks good, then great. Then submit it. But if it's not, then why are you doing this? You want us to do it, we can submit it, but do you just want us to submit it without the client wanting to actually interview the candidate, or do you actually want to put your best foot forward to ensure that the client wants to interview your candidate first and that he lands the job? These are all the little small things that you want to do, the extra small things that you want to do to ensure that your candidate makes it. Should we ask the candidate if they mind if we refer? Ask the candidate, hey, I don't want to change anything on your resume, not anything whatsoever. All I want to do is just to give it a new look, just a clean, polished, shined look for the hiring manager. Is that cool with you? They will love you for that because you're the recruiter. So that means you know how it needs to look in order for them to get hired. And then I typically give them the formatted version and I let them use it because it is going to allow them to get hired. So even if they don't get the job that I submitted them for, at some point they're going to get a job. And if I have a relationship with them, then I also am able to get the job orders from either their past job or their current job or what have you. You're doing them a service. You're earning the value that we bring as entrepreneurs, as staffingpreneurs. And so what it takes a little bit of time. That little bit of time will ensure that you make the money that you want to make and that you're building the right relationships. Okay? All right. So that was just something I felt like I needed to get in right now as I'm going through this. So a couple of you are going to get some emails from me. You're welcome, Michelle. You're going to get some emails from me asking you to go back in and to reformat the candidate's resume and to make it look nice. Is this really what you want the hiring manager to see? These are all the extras. Remember, you're building a profile on this candidate to sell. You can't talk to the hiring manager in person. He's got to skim through the resume. Do you want him to have to fight to get to that information? Or do you want the information to be so available to him that he wants to do nothing more but to speak to your candidate right now? Let's get him in right now for an interview right now. That's what we want. Woo! High five. That's what we want. All right. All right. I love you. I'll be back on in a little bit because it's so much going on. I'm so on fire and excited about what's going on. So I'll be back on in a little bit, but I wanted to start out with that. Please make sure that your other fellow staffingpreneurs are understand this concept and you're sharing this video with them as well. Tag a friend. That's right. I appreciate you, India. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you in a minute. All right. I hope you gained something out of that, and I'll see you guys shortly as well. Thank you.